Join me now, former governor of Arkansas and former presidential candidate, Mr. Mike Huckabee. Mike, odd timing, or I should say interesting timing in politics. There are no coincidences. So DeSantis is allegedly going to announce Wednesday or Thursday for president, and the NAACP decides today, or Saturday, they're going to tell minorities, don't go to Florida. What are your thoughts?
Well, the tragedy is the NAACP could have a very important role to play in race relations. But years ago, they abandoned that. They no longer are an organization about race relations. They're simply a front for Democrat Party left-wing politics. And it's tragic because there are issues they could be playing on, but they're not. And getting into this is absurd. And they've made a joke of themselves by saying, oh, don't come to Florida. It's not safe for you. And I loved what you said. Yeah, why don't you go to Chicago? That ought to be a real safe place. Try Baltimore, New York, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland. There's some wonderful places you could go. And I'm sure you would feel very safe as long as you stayed in your hotel room and never left. This is absurd, and everybody who's ever been to Florida knows that it's absurd. And I think Ron DeSantis gets the last laugh on all of this nonsense. I thought it was particularly ridiculous that LULAC, who used to also be a respectable organization, they've come out and said, this is terrible for law-abiding citizens, and then they included, and migrants. And I'm thinking, okay, and legal migrants? What about illegal? Those aren't law-abiding American citizens. And they missed the point. They missed it badly. But most Americans get it, and they're not buying it.
And they're not buying it. I assume DeSantis on Thursday, when or if he comes out, he'll point out that I believe Florida is one of the highest-ranking states for minority businesses in the country. And, you know, if you read that statement by the NAACP, it doesn't say black people. It didn't say black people shouldn't come here. It says minority, or people of color, right? People of color, communities of color. I don't know if you've been to South Florida recently. I live down here, and yeah, the white population is a minority. There is a very heavily Hispanic population. And that statement right there is recommending people of color, including them, not come here.
And by the way, Eric, the most freedom-loving people I've ever met in my entire life are the Cuban Americans of South Florida. They know what freedom looks like because they had to run from a tyranny in order to embrace freedom. And I love the people of South Florida. And to say that somehow Florida doesn't appreciate freedom and doesn't appreciate expression, it's nonsense. The worst part of it all is that the press, once again, proves themselves to be the enemy of the people, just as President Trump once called them, because they play along with this. They still will talk about Ron DeSantis's Don't Say Gay bill. It never existed. There was no such thing in the bill. It simply said you can't indoctrinate kindergarten through third grade children with sexual material. What parent in his or her right mind thinks that's okay? What an idiotic thing when kids can't even know their colors and basic numbers, and we're teaching them transgender ideology? I don't think so. Mike, and that's what the bill was about.
My final thought on the Disney situation down here. President Trump came out and said he thought DeSantis was wrong with Disney. I think he got a lot of pushback. And I would say that maybe Trump should rethink his position on Disney. I know he's looking at maybe running against Ron DeSantis, but doesn't Disney represent so many people and so much conservative voice in America?
Well, they once did. It used to be a safe place where parents could park their kids in front of a Disney movie,
Mike,
take them to it.
I mean the Disney issue. Doesn't the Disney issue represent where conservatives are saying, hey, it's not about teachers teaching what they want to our kids. It's about us having a say in it. That's what the Florida bill was that sparked this Disney fight. In other words, should Trump maybe soften his tone with DeSantis and go hard on Disney?
Yeah, I think so, because I think DeSantis is exactly right. Look, I'm a Trump supporter, but I think DeSantis is 100% correct in standing up and pushing back to Disney. The problem we've had is too many politicians have not stood up to these big multinational corporations, and they let them do everything from slave labor in China to push us around with woke ideology that's utter insanity and expect us just to salute their flag. I think DeSantis is 100% right to say, no, not doing it anymore. Good for him.
All right, Mike, really good having you. I appreciate your time, Mike Huckabee. Thank you for being here.
You bet, Eric. Thank you.